Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Today I am very excited to be joined by Karen Krogh, who is the founder of the beauty skincare line that's called Esther, More Than Beautiful. And I was very fortunate to have met Karen last year at a retreat in Italy, and we did a lot of deep dives into her product and what inspired her to create it. She has a long career in the beauty industry, so she knows all the ins and outs and a lot about product ingredients and is very passionate about creating something natural that really embodies beauty for women. So thank you. Oh, and Karen is in Denmark. Welcome, Karen. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's really exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very good timing. So Karen is doing like a relaunch or an initial launch of her product Esther, and it's all happening right around now. So we reconnected the other day, and I was like, "Hey, why don't you come on the podcast and talk about it?" So when she gave the whole history of what inspired her to create it to our retreat in Italy last year, everyone was so excited about it, and there was a very strong sentiment amongst the group that the world needs to know more about Esther and Karen. So, um, Karen, can you tell everyone a little bit about your personal background? So your early, like your cultural influences, your cultural background and early upbringing?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah.
As you say, I have a long experience, which means I'm getting an old elderly woman. Yeah. So that's a lot. But I was born up here in north of Denmark
Uh-huh.
and in a small village in a family with um,
Five siblings or
five,
five of you
three,
total?
three, yeah, five in total. Yeah, three
Okay.
kids and two parents. Very traditional. Um, and yeah, a small town,
Mm-hmm.
and with big family and summer house and grandparents, and yeah, one big happy place in a way. Yeah,
Yeah. What was school like where
school
where
was
where you grew up?
boring, really boring, and I thought, why? What is this? What are we gonna learn here? They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna teach us how to uh, take a job and just do normal thing. And so for me, it was as soon as I could get out of it. I just took the bus and took. I asked my father to go to a bigger school in a bigger city,
Mm-hmm.
and he approved. And because I thought it was too. It was at the time where Beatles was popular. So
Wow.
the boys had long hair, and the teachers thought that was there was all kind of funny restriction of you couldn't have long hair, you couldn't do this and that. So I thought, let me get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where did you go?
yeah. I just took them to the bigger city, and there was more life and normal life for me. Normal life, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so from a young age, you were motivated to escape small town
yeah,
small town existence, small town
yeah.
living. And then when you entered the working world, or did you go to university, or did you just
No,
start working
no,
straight away?
no. I come from a family where it's not it's not they they don't tell you if, oh, I think you have some skills in this and that.
Hmm.
It was not an issue. It was um, and I took it even further because I saw an ad in the newspaper about a jeune fille au pair in France,
Mm-hmm.
So I took the flight even further to get further away.
Yeah.
So my first job was in France, and coming from a little village up here and coming down to south of France,
Uh-huh.
Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat, entre Nice and Monaco, I was blown away, and
Wow. It's
it
so
has
beautiful down there
it
too.
has really formed my life. I speak the language, I cook the way I. It's the way I have my au pair mom, Isabel. She was 10 years older than me. So everything I hadn't learned from being a woman at home, she was kind of comme il faut. So
Oh,
it was like how to say, you become, yeah, it was really, I still have connection with her. She's now
wow.
80, 81.
So it was very formative for you.
Very, in
Yeah, and your French is sounds perfect.
every way it formed me. Yeah. And yeah.
That's very beautiful. Very lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
So
was lucky it was a good place. Yeah.
yeah, extremely lucky. It's funny because most of the guests I've had on, when they talk about their first jobs, most of them have been experiences that they absolutely hated, and that's how they learned that that's not what they wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's amazing. So you're still in touch with her. How long were you an au pair?
I was there for 2 years. It was a
Okay.
very wealthy family, and we had a big house, and there was only one child,
Hmm.
and we had a
Oh,
cook
wow.
from
That's so nice.
we had a cook from Italy, and it was amazing. Yeah, in many ways. Yeah, and then you get a little boyfriend, and then you learn. Yeah, then you stay a little longer, and yeah, yeah.
So then what did you do after that? Why did you leave?
Oh yeah, Isabel even said, "Why do you want to go back?"
Yeah.
She says it in a funny. What do you want? What are you gonna do in that dark hole up there? Come and live here in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I wanted to go back and take the business school and
Okay.
be more
Professional.
yeah, more professional. I got a job at the airport, and there were a lot of funny boys with airplanes, and then you learn to fly. And, yeah. So that's typical for me, that my private life goes along with, oh, here's some interesting. So flying has been a lot of my life. Yeah.
Well, and in back around then, that was when flying was still kind of in its golden age, right? Like it
Yeah.
was that was like the coolest
Oh
job to
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If you
Not anymore.
no, if you a dream could be to be an air host, and I thought, oh
Mhm.
no. But traveling and exploring and being curious and how to live here and there, that has been I'm the curious. Um, yeah, I want to
Yeah,
know.
definitely. I would say that's one of the things that we connected over when we first met
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, you definitely, and I love that has never left you.
no,
Yeah, your sense of adventure and exploration
yeah,
is still, it's
yeah. I could
deeply
take my
ingrained in
car
you.
from here and go down to Tuscany where we met. I think I took my car when we met.
Yeah, when we
Yeah,
met, because you came a day or two before the retreat started,
yeah,
and you had driven all through the night
mm,
from Denmark.
yeah.
Yeah.
On coffee and adrenaline and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
like that. Especially when you hit the Alps and you see it's breathtaking when you drive down. Because I come from this flat country, so mountains for me is it's so beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I very much relate with that. Mountains really take my breath away because England is pretty flat as well.
yeah.
So whenever I go skiing, I'm always
Oh,
like
it's so nice.
it's
Yeah,
stunning.
yeah,
Yeah, really beautiful.
yeah.
So, okay, so that's your early
That's my very
career
early.
stage, what took you into beauty, right?
Yeah, but I was in during school time. You know you can have a little internship. So there
Mm.
was you could go in what I don't know what you call it, practic internship. Yeah,
Yeah, an internship, but
yeah,
they would, or like work experience.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then I had some choices, and there was a beauty clinic, and I thought, oh, not. I don't know where it came from. I was just there for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and then I forgot all about it. You know, later on, it just came much later that I thought, oh, there was something about that beauty thing. So I had a lot of years with office job, accountants. I was um, co-owner of a speaker factory, but
Mm-hmm.
always something about starting up, make it work, like in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the process of building up. I think that's because you have to
Yeah.
you have to be resistant and
I worked with a startup quite early on in my career as well, and I found so my first job was like an office job, and then I got an opportunity to work with a startup. And I mean, it's hard, but I found that you gain so much more valuable work experience in a startup environment in your early career stage because you're exposed to all levels of the business, and it's like it's all hands on deck and everyone has to do everything. There's less of the hierarchy that you get in a big company where like you just do one little job each day. Like everyone does everything. So
yeah,
I like that about startups as well.
yeah. And there's no room for I don't do chairs. As a, yeah, you just have to do
Yeah,
whatever, make
today you
coffee
do.
or yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So you were drawn to startups.
yeah. And I did a lot of not a lot of, but it was like 7 years with this and 7 years with that, and yeah,
That's a long time, 7 years.
yeah. But it takes time to build something up, and at a point I was even starting up in Laguna Beach.
In California?
In California, yeah,
Oh,
we lived.
wow.
Yeah, I was in the woodworking industry.
Okay.
But it's because when you have skills in accounting and you and how to set up things, you can work with whatever. I didn't have to know anything about woodworking machinery, and it's a time where everything is possible. So yeah, but that's also when I started to wake up
Mm-hmm.
because after Laguna Beach, I was flying home. I got sick.
Okay.
Sometimes something in life really stops you. I got
Yeah.
I got sick on an airplane, or I could see I was sick, and I entered into the hospital in New York, and then I don't want to go into details. It was I had to do something about it. It was like I had burned myself in both ends,
Okay. So
flying
you had some
around
burnout.
doing. I see my first 30 plus years like I was unconscious. Woo! I was flying, skiing, dancing until I had,
So did this happened around 30?
yeah, I was 30.
So would you say that in your life that this is like a rock bottom
Yeah,
moment? Like it just yeah,
it
okay.
was. It was my first really breakdown.
Okay.
And I had like an identity crisis. Who am I? What I'm doing? I took to Norway up to a place where we had been skiing. I was screaming up in the mountains, walking with the dog, and it was. When I see my pictures from that phase, they're all dark. The clouds. I was in a very big transition. So that was my first really rock bottom, or how to say it.
Yeah, yeah, your first rock bottom. So
Yeah.
how did you emerge from that?
And from there, I thought,
Uh-huh.
what am I going to do now? And then I
Hmm.
came to think about the skincare.
Okay.
So here's where my skincare really started.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I sold my shares at the speaker factory. I found the money to get the education as a beautician. Yeah, and then I started just digging into it.
How did you what made you think about it? Like when you were in Norway, what was it that called you to that?
I think I was just so, I didn't know what, I didn't have a clue what to do. So it was
Hmm.
just, what could be really interesting to do? What could be, and then it came up, oh, you had a really nice time at that internship. There's something there you really liked. Or at a point, I thought it was so superficial. But then again, I just said, let me go into it and see
Hmm.
what it, and at the same time, I also took the international trade and economic. So I took two education at the same time because I thought it was too easy, the beauty thing.
Yeah. And you know what? That is something that I hear a lot when people are kind of resisting their calling. They'll be like, "Yeah, but that's not like a real job, or it's too easy." So when we are given gifts, because everyone has a gift, everyone has something that they excel at. If it's something that comes really easily to someone, people will often push that away and be like, no, but it's too easy. And it's like, yeah, it's easy for you for a reason because that's what you're supposed to do when it
Yeah,
comes easily to you. But people have, and just because it comes easily to you, it would be really difficult for someone else. So you are supposed to follow those things.
yeah, it's
But
interesting.
people push it away. Yeah, it's so funny.
And I remember at the exam, there was a woman who said, "I think we're going to see more of you." And the
Mm.
year after, I was the chairman of the whole beauty,
Oh, wow.
or maybe 2 years after. But she had like, she saw me in a way and said, "I think we'll see more to you." And she was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so that was the beginning of a very long career in the beauty
yeah,
industry.
yeah, yeah. First year I had my own clinic. At the same time, I met the man, a man, which I
The
had
man.
my child with. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we're still great family, even though we don't live together. My son is now 34.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was 37 before I got him.
Okay.
Yeah, and
That will be hope for many people hearing this.
yeah, it only takes a year to get one, so you have time.
Yeah.
And yeah, from there on, it was just then I made a magazine into the industry, and then my picture, and there's like a introduction in the magazine, and then I had a call from the biggest company in Norway, beautician or skincare,
Hmm.
who offered me an agency, and from there on, I moved to Copenhagen, and then I was in the work teaching beauticians and cooperation with plastic surgery and traveling around the world. I was in India, in Brazil, and I saw skincare from all kind of different way.
Yeah.
What was exclusive in India could be an ice cube to tighten the skin. It's so different. And then to very sophisticated acid treatments in another country, and you hear a lot of yeah. There's a lot of funny talk in the industry.
Yeah, I can imagine. And the approach to skincare is so different country to country and culture to culture. When I when I did my like exchange in Thailand when I was at university, I
Mm.
did 2 months in Thailand.
Yeah.
And I remember going to this like the grocery store with my friends, and we were buying like toiletries. So it was like shampoo, conditioner, face wash, all that kind of stuff. And all of the lotion said it was whitening lotion. And I remember being like,
I don't want to be more white.
did I just have like a normal moisturizer? But that was the like the selling point, just like, with food, things are low fat or
Yeah.
high protein, whatever. That was the thing that was made all the moisturizers really popular. And it was really, we had a really hard time finding moisturizers that weren't whitening. Or at least they
Yeah.
claim to be whitening, and
Yeah.
it's different in every country. And then, in the US it would be like skin tightening. So how do you even do that?
Yeah. No, no, it's not possible.
Yeah, you
That's
must have seen so many trends.
yeah, and that's kind of what really frustrated me at a point that when you hear so much. In the beginning, I believed it because they were saying you're telling you all this, and but afterwards, when you learn more and more about it, and you learn more and more about ingredients, you start to question and think, what is all this about? And then you
Hmm.
figure out the industry has really tried to fix us
Mm.
because our skin is such a beautiful ecosystem that we hardly need anything. You have the moisture, you have everything in your skin. And as you say, we have different opinions about what beauty is. In one country, it's to be white. In another, it's to be, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So all that talk about being beautiful. Yeah, I think I just I couldn't say anti-AIDS one more time because it was, it has become too,
It goes against the process of being a human.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
basically what they're saying. They're saying freeze time, deny your
yeah,
existence and evolution.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the dream of not being, you're not going to be old. Yeah. So there was, it was all that at a point had me, I had to stop in that. There was a special point. I had a meeting with a plastic surgery. We were going to a clinic, and then he started modeling her. You can have this, you can have this, and then you can do that. And in the meeting, I was just, what is he doing? I couldn't say anything. But when we came out in the elevator, it's a very small elevator, I just almost took him by the balls and said, what are you doing? Wasn't she pretty enough? Do you need some money? Or I was just sickened. And from there on, I took my car and then I drove out and I literally threw up. I couldn't have more rubbish being told to us what we should look like. And so I left the beauty industry for many years.
So that was kind of another rock bottom for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I mean it's all major industries have a dark side. So the beauty industry, I can't even imagine. I mean, I see this so much. I have a lot of young female clients, and it's heartbreaking what social media has made them feel that they should look like. And it is, I mean, societally, even before social media, as you know well, there's a lot of pressure put on a woman as to how she should look and what her hair should be. And, back to the whitening lotion that I saw in Thailand too, in the UK, everything is a bronzer. People here, everyone's white. They want to they want to be more tan, and it's like grass is always greener. But it's like it doesn't matter what you do, it's not good enough. And so people just have this feeling of like that they're ugly. And even I, when I look at pictures of myself from like 5 or 10 years ago, I'm like, God, I looked so good in that picture, but I
Yeah.
remember that day thinking that I looked fat or that that was a bad angle. And then it's just crazy what your mind, like, I will go back and look at pictures and I'll be like, I looked great that day. And I
Yeah.
remembered feeling so ugly. Yeah.
And that was exactly also what you described, what I experienced when I had clients in my hands. It was like the woman was sitting in a corner of themselves telling, oh, my nose is whatever, and this is, and there were so many things that they could tell about themselves that was wrong.
Mm,
So trying to yeah, it it was heartbreaking sometimes to hear a woman's story about and too much cleaning, and they felt dirty. They felt dirty because the industry said you're dirty. You have to clean. You have to, yeah, something trying to fix something that was never broken. That's actually what. And the beauty industry isn't that long. It's only 150 years old. It started with Shiseido, who made some products, and then others saw how much money there is in this. So now you can see a lot of gold. Yeah, you can see there was a funny. Recently, there was a 12-year-old girls in on TV talking about why she was buying these skincare products, and said, "Oh yeah, it looks good on the bathroom." And I thought, that's we don't have to be 12 years to think that. Yeah, she didn't know what it was for, but it looks good
in the
in her
bathroom.
room. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a lot of it. It's a lot of there's a lot of marketing in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's really, it's heartbreaking what the programming that girls receive from such a young age.
yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily now, a thing like an ingredient like retinol is gonna be banned because exactly 12-year-olds buy them without knowing what it does. So there will be more restrictions, luckily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's is it a very unregulated industry in some ways? Well, there's I can't remember what it's called, but I heard a podcast during COVID um that was a woman was the guest on, and she's now founded a company that's American, but I know there's a European equivalent. And in the US, I think it's called Beauty Bar. I might need to double check that. But
Yeah, yeah.
basically, this woman had a nanny um, who got breast cancer and died like before the age of 30.
Mm,
And she was, the nanny
mm,
had been such a close part of the family. And this woman was really upset. She was like, how did this young girl get breast cancer and die? Like it was so aggressive. And so she was, doing research and stuff. And in the United States, beauty products, it's way less regulated. Like Europe
yeah.
has much
Way
stricter.
less. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, and she discovered, much to her disgust and dismay, that the list of products that the FDA, which is the Federal
Yeah,
Drug and
yeah.
Administration, only had like 20 products that were banned. So you could use anything. And that's when she started seeing things like, like Vaseline and like all of the baby shampoos and conditioners that she was washing her children with, her little babies, had all these really toxic ingredients, and she was mortified. And then she researched and she saw that the European equivalent of the FDA, I don't know what it's called, the list of products that are banned to be
Much.
used in beauty products
Yeah.
is like, it's like more than 2,000 thing. It's very long, and it's constantly getting longer and longer. So she's started, it's an app now. Because my sister, when I heard this podcast, I was like, oh my God. Because I'm always really like, I know that the food industry there is really toxic, and I'm always really weird about what I eat when I visit family. And so we went down this rabbit hole during COVID, and my sister heard the podcast, and my niece was a baby at that time. So my sister got this app. So with the app, you can scan the products and it will tell you if there's toxic ingredients. And she realized everything she was using for my niece, who was a baby, was like a bad toxic product. So she got rid of all, she went through our whole house. She got rid of all my parents' shampoo and conditioner, everyone. And she now orders really expensive organic stuff from Canada
Yeah.
that you can't get in the US. And that's all she'll use. And she swears by it. And there's now the app in the UK is called Yucca. I think it's called Yucca, Yukka. And
Yeah.
I use that now when I
Yeah.
buy lotions. It's food as well here, and I scan the barcode before I buy it to see if there's any toxic ingredients in it.
It's good. It's good. That's
Yeah.
more info coming up. Really, really good. Yeah.
But it's so infuriating knowing how much they know that they're poisoning people. And the skin is the biggest organ on your body.
Yeah.
Um,
It's there for to protect us. And
yeah,
there's nothing that comes in. Otherwise, if you took a shower, you would be filled with water. It's protecting us. So when you say you put moisturizer on, it's going nowhere. Luckily, we are protected. So when I use oil in my skincare, it's because I put a very thin layer of oil, because the oil will protect your moisture, and the oil is recognized by your own oil. So you have
yeah,
oil and moisture in your skin. And from what we eat, eat some carrots and get some retinol from inside. There's so many other ways and to keep yourself healthy. Cream, there's no cream that can move any big, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's been since COVID that I'm like really particular about lotions or any of that. And I really, because I had some friends and like actually more of them were American when we were kind of around our mid 30s that were like, well, you need to start using a skincare routine. We're getting older and you need to start now. And I just was like, who told you that?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. The
where are you getting
industry.
that? And
The
I
industry.
have a couple of friends that I actually got to stop doing their skincare routine because they were using so many products and they're so expensive. And I was like, your skin knows what to do. You just need to like let it do its thing. So I just like splash water on my face in the morning. And like I use oil. I use like an oil-based product or sometimes olive oil or coconut oil
Yeah.
to remove eye makeup.
Yeah.
And then I just splash water on my face and
Yeah.
that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always had I've never had any skin issues. I never had acne or any of that.
No.
And I've always been really gentle with my skin. And I got a couple of my friends that did use way too much stuff. They were like, yeah, you're right. Like I stopped using all this stuff and my skin cleared up.
Exactly. And that's really, and that normally I saw when I had clients, they were way too aggressive by cleansing because they had this, I am dirty, there's something in there. So they were pressing blood and your sebum out because they were cleaning their face like they were cleaning the toilet. It's way too aggressive. And then
And
you
people
still have to
get like
recover.
chemical peels now. They
Huh?
do these crazy peels now
Ooh,
and
ooh.
it's like layers of your
Ooh.
skin comes off and I'm like, why are you doing
Yeah,
that?
why are you doing
Yeah,
that?
it's terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. It often comes from when you don't, yeah,
Low self-esteem,
low
low
self-esteem,
self-worth.
and you think you're wrong, and you think you should look prettier, and you think you can change a lot with creams, but you cannot. There's nothing that moves. Then you have to be really cut open, and And unfortunately, we have some role models or so-called role models, the Kardashian thing.
Oh my God, I know.
And then if they become the picture of what you should look like, you should look like your daughter when you are my age, 71. If I should have a lot of, why
And look
would I
at your
look,
skin. Your skin is so perfect.
why
Your
would I
skin is
look
beautiful.
39? So that's what I really hope to call out women and say, be wise. You're so much more than beautiful, and you are valuable. You have a role to play. Find your voice. I really hope I can call out women with my skincare line.
Yeah, so when did you start Esther? So obviously you saw all the negative things in the beauty
Yeah,
industry.
and
It
then
made you step away.
I had to take a break out. I had to, and at the same time, I was because I was at the board at my school, my son's school. They sent me to a leadership summit in Copenhagen, and it was purpose driven, and it was value based. And I was sitting and thinking, I could almost see my whole computer be transformed into this. And I worked with the leadership, it's called Global Leadership Network for 10 years, 15 years, a long time. And at a point, I am listening to a speech I was sitting in Chicago listening to a speak about Esther, Queen Esther, living 2,000 years ago. The way she was coming into Persia like an orphan, and the king needed a new queen. So he and his young advisor said, "Oh, you have 127 states. Why don't we pick all the beautiful women and then we make a beauty contest?" A very, yeah.
That's like Cinderella.
Yeah, and Esther won that contest and she became the queen. And then she is kind of leading from second chair,
Uh-huh.
which I could talk about that later. But seeing how she was leading very gracefully, she just invited to dinners. She didn't use a lot of power. She used her brain and her heart, and she was leading, and she was really saving her people. And that whole history just grabbed me. It was such a defining moment, and I thought, phew, it was plain vanilla for me. I go home and I make 3 products: one oil for the face, one protection balm, and one for the body. 3 products. That's it.
Yeah.
Enough crap, because that was what I use myself. I don't use 20 different products. So that's how Esther was born, and that's why it's called Esther. It's from the ancient queen. Yeah.
The ancient queen.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to read that story, where is it?
It's in the Old Testament.
In the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't, I don't want it to be like a religious skincare.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But inspired by
It is
Queen
inspired
Esther.
by Esther because I think she's a role model. We can take the way she was being a woman, and really she when I think of women today, you can take Melania. I wish she would lead from second tier. You have women who could really raise, and they can talk into, and luckily we see it more and more. Women are really taking up the role and they lead. You can lead
Yeah.
your family, you can lead your dog, but yeah, lead wherever you are. And
We certainly need more female leads.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think it's so inspiring to find some role models. And but talking about role models, one who really said words to my breakdown is Brené Brown.
Yeah, I
Because
love
she
her.
says breakdown, and then she just eliminate it and say, hey, it's spiritual awakening. You come from one transition and then you break down and then you go into another space or another room. It's so wise told. For me, it was, my breakdown has been like that. There was like something of the old Karen had to die, and it can be drama and everything, but once you're in it or through it, you come out in the other end and you are a transformed person. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like crossing a threshold.
Yeah.
Stepping into a new version of yourself.
Yeah. And there's also the other book, Women Who Runs with the Wolves.
Yeah, I have this book downstairs in my room. I haven't read it yet, but I have it.
It was one of the first books I was reading, because it's almost written to your soul.
Yeah.
It's so deep. It has some metaphor. Yeah, you can even compare it like the Bible is also a metaphor. So it's written to your soul in a deeper way. That was one of my first really awakening. That was Women Who Runs with the Wolves. Yeah.
You've inspired me to finish reading the book now.
Yeah, you can see if it talks to you or you have passed. Maybe you have passed. Because you have also worked a lot with yourself. So that I really think the inner journey, my inner life, is the most important life. So it's not the outer career that inspired me. It's really my inner life.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
So looking at Esther, when did you launch the first line of it? And tell us about what's happening now. Is it a relaunch or?
Yeah, I first, when I came back, I partnered up with a chemist and we make the formula. And I cut all the crap up, no fillers, no water, no nothing, just the pure oil, the jojoba oil, argan oil, well-known oils from ancient time, and shea butter, which is so good to our skin.
Yeah.
And to make the three products took a good process. And at the same time, I had another job which I was focusing more on. So launching was very slow in the first one. And that is 8 years ago. Okay. But now it's like upscaling with the brand story, and I have a really nice people in Norway where everything is coming together. The production is much bigger, and so it's.
Would you say this is your sole focus now?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That makes a big difference too.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very exciting, and also
it's very beautiful as well. The packaging, like
thank you.
Yeah, I love them. So I was lucky, and Karen gave me some samples when we were in Italy, and actually I still have a tiny bit of the face oil left. I'm just finishing that, but the body oil, oh my God, I love it, and they all smell so good.
Yeah, that's essence of rose and apricot will be the signal essence of the series.
Yeah, they smell so good. Every time I wear it, people ask me,
nice.
Like, "Ooh, what is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you won't know."
Well, that's nice. Yeah, but it's really nice. Yeah.
So where, if someone so people hear this episode and they're like, I wanna buy some Esther products, where do they get them?
It's on the website, which is in reconstruction. Okay. But it's called Esther More Than Beautiful. You can find it there.
Okay, and I'm going to put all of that in the show notes.
Oh, thank you.
So is that the only place where they can buy it?
Yeah, the launching will be like an e-commerce. Yeah, there will be a launching with offers, and It will come. Yeah, it will come soon. It's
Okay.
not ready. After here today, I have meeting with the team, so I will know more this afternoon,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
and it's also, I know you have an Instagram page
yeah, it's
and a
also
Facebook page as well,
yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah,
on
and those both obviously will link to your website when your website is live.
yeah.
So that's
It
exciting.
is live, but it's under construction. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, if you could reflect on your life and your career, um, and there's quite a bit that you can reflect on, what would you say, what advice would you give to yourself in your like lowest rock bottom moment? What advice today would you give to yourself then?
I would say stay in it, feel and grieve and mourn and whatever's come and learn from it. You might think you die. It's a small death. Yeah, and it's very well described in Women Who Run Through the Wilderness, the little death. Yeah. So that, yeah, it's not dangerous to let something go. So just stay in it, like in the land between who I was to where I'm going. So don't be afraid of staying
Yeah.
in it. And breakdown, it takes, you cry maybe you don't cry for days. You cry maybe, it's not so dangerous. So stay calm and you'll get through it.
You'll get through it. Yeah, that time. There's so many different names for those two experiences that you just described in psychology. There's so many different names, but like the death, it's like an ego death, right? Or
Yeah,
it's like an old version of yourself
yeah,
needs to die for a new version of you to be born, and it's really uncomfortable and painful a lot, and you'll go through all the stages of grief in that time because you're letting go of this old version of yourself. And the time in between, there's different names for, but one of them is like magic dark.
yeah.
Yeah, where it's like you haven't been born, like part of you has died, but the new part hasn't been born yet, and it's this uncomfortable time in between, and you just have to just sit with it and trust that it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that birth of the new. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And the ego death. There's another word for it when you're going through that process, and it's so painful. Is a dark night of the soul. When it's like really like those rock bottom moments where you think it just can't possibly get any worse.
yeah,
And that's the best place to be sometimes because the only way is up.
yeah.
Like
It
you can't
is.
get any worse.
No,
Yeah.
no. And yeah, for me it happened like 3 times in my 70 years.
Wow.
The first was not so. The second one was bigger, or how to say. But once you get some tools and you get some language for it, it's not so dangerous. So be curious about what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Karen. I'm really looking forward to the new launch, and I will be ordering some of your products for
Thank you.
sure. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And good luck with the meeting this afternoon. I'm excited to see the website when it's
Yeah.
launched. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I will see I think I'll see more of it today. It's so interesting to work with skilled people and then also to let them know about Esther, and I can see how inspiring it is. Because once you're purpose driven, there's a bigger vision than making money. It's much more it's so inspiring. And there's
Yeah.
the mission of calling out women, it's so wonderful. Because when I see a woman who settled down just to be beautiful, I cry.
Yeah.
There's so much more you can do. You can be so much more. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it is my wish as well that everyone at some point in their life is able to to realize their purpose, their passion.
Yeah.
Life is so much more than just a 9 to 5 job or
Yeah.
you know like we all have gifts and we all have a purpose and
Yeah.
I hope that everyone can find theirs one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep on, be curious and knock doors and yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice to
Okay.
talk to you, Megan. Yeah.
Yeah, you too. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Speak
Okay.
soon. Yeah.
Bye.